Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be looking into the cutting edge machine vision, image processing, and robotics technologies that will be showcased at Automate in Chicago next month. Joining us is A3's Vice President, Alex Shikany. Thank you for joining us today, Alex.
Hey Sharon, it's good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm just going to dive right in. All right. So first of all, I saw that we have that humanoid forum, which is new this year. So that's so intriguing to me. Can you share some insights into the current state of humanoid robotics technology and the specific applications or breakthroughs that will be featured?
Well, sure. Happy to do it. We're excited to have the Humanoid Robot Forum co-located at Automate this year. We most recently did it in Seattle as a separate event last fall, and it's perfect to be linked to Automate this year just because of how much interest and attention that the technology is getting and how well it fits into the Automate ecosystem, I'll say. It's an interesting time as well for humanoid robots. They're kind of moving from the initial hype and concepts and kind of proof of concept into more practical applications and evaluation of companies. So we're seeing more and more technologies actually being up and moving around and actually doing real world applications in facilities and things like that, which is really interesting to our Automate attendees, of course, and other exhibitors, because those were some of the main questions we had for humanoids when it first started coming on the scene was, where are these going to be deployed? Are they for real? Is all this investment, really going to make an impact? And while some of those questions are still open, of course, we're going to tackle them at the event in our humanoid robot forum and in our programming on the show floor in the pavilion that's sponsored by NVIDIA. We have an excellent array of different humanoid robot technologies in that pavilion and who are going to be on stage. So for someone who's considering coming to Automate, I would say it's a no-brainer one-stop shop. I mean, they're going to get their questions answered. They're going to get to see, the humanoids up and talk to the companies in the booths to see if it's a fit for their applications or it will be in the future. I know Vision Systems Design, we know you guys well. You're a partner of ours for a long time now. One of the more exciting things when I think of humanoids is the convergence of all these technologies. They're kind of a great microcosm of what we've been saying for a long time, which is automation technology is converging, right? Um, Back in the day, it was I may need just a robot or I may need just a vision system, or these things happened a little bit more in isolation. But at a show like Automate, where the topic of the at hand is solutions, you get to see in one hardware package with a humanoid robot, vision system, sensing, articulation, robotics. You get to see it all, mobility in one package. So that's why I think it embodies a lot of what we talk about and present at Automate.
With increasing system complexity, how are challenges like vision system calibration, robustness, and interoperability being addressed, particularly through emerging standards and integration strategies? I know when I talked to Jeff Bernstein last year, they were working on the humanoid standard. So where
Yeah.
are we with that?
Yeah, the work on the dynamic stability standard for humanoid robots is still ongoing. We're still plugged in with that effort. Um, the importance, just sticking with humanoids for a second, it's critical for if you are to believe that humanoid robots are going to be deployed at scale across various industries. We believe that it starts with safety, certainly from an organizational perspective, as we have shown with our work in the R1508 and '06, robotic safety standards up through collaborative and mobile and all of that. And so um, that's super important work that we continue to be plugged in on. When it comes to robust, I believe the way you worded it was robustness and interoperability, those types of things, those themes on the show floor. So those are still incredibly important. Just to talk about interoperability for a moment, that continues to be one of the main themes that we see brought up is as more automation technology is available to customers, from more brands and more different types and form factors of solutions. For the customers, it's increasingly important for them to be able to, over time, deploy those various technologies and be able to control them in concert with one another in their facilities. And so there is a big emphasis right now being placed on the ability for them to work, and operate um, with each other and play nice, so to speak. So we do have an AMR specific to autonomous mobile robots. We have an AMR demo area at the show where we're going to be running some of these demos, actually. And so there'll be periodic times where, attendees to the show and exhibitors, if they want, can come over and actually see this demonstrated real time in front of them so they can ask their questions and see, what standards apply here, how does this actually work, what software, if any, do I need in order to make this a reality for me. Um, so I would say your question is apt because those things that you mentioned, there's increasing complexity, standards are becoming more important, interoperability is more important. All those things are going to be present on the show floor at Automate and being discussed during that week.
What do you feel that are the most innovative machine vision and image processing technologies? Um, and how are they pushing the boundaries of the current manufacturing applications?
Yeah, absolutely. So vision has moved. It never. It was always a major, an integral piece of what we do in automation and what's possible with today's hardware and software. But it really truly is kind of at the center of what's possible with some of these, AI software programs and things that are you're seeing now, deep learning, and also the hardware. In order for the hardware to do some of the things that are, I would say, the most cutting edge or modern, move around, become modular in their application, understand their environments. You know, vision is often critical to all of those things happening successfully. And so, traditional machine vision, as one might think of it when you say it that way, traditional machine vision is going more from like simple pass-fail inspection applications to a more flexible, dynamic, adaptive, intelligent, understanding environments, being able to process things very quickly, but you know, integrate with all the other software and sensing that is working in concert with just the vision system itself. So I think it's a super exciting time for the vision industry because they find themselves at the center of all of that that's taking place. So they're going to be in demand for many of these exciting applications that we talk about.
Yeah, that segues perfectly into my next question, which is explain to our audience the latest advancements in that AI and in deep learning integration within the vision systems. And if you can think of any of the standout demos or vendors at the show that will be leveraging these technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's vision, as many of our board members have told me over the years, vision is as much an art as it is a science. You have to get the environmental factors right, lighting and the optics and the processing and the data collection and the software that runs on top. It's a concert. It's an artistic portrait of a good system when it's developed. And when I remember AI and deep learning really kind of first becoming on the, let's say, the automate scene and being shown in booths at large and build like this is the answer to all your problems or all your questions kind of thing. I remember there was some skepticism there. There was some, hang on, that's not the answer. It's not a one size fits all. And I certainly think that that's true to some extent. AI has come a long way. AI vision can do so much more in terms of classification and detection and, different types of like segmentation and defect detection, things like that. It can do a lot of those things better now than it could in previous years. And it obviously can do them at greater speed and with more accuracy. We've seen that along the trajectory. But it's also working in concert with the foundational elements of a successful vision system, right? So it needs to come together in the whole picture with good system design, the proper hardware that it's using, the lighting conditions, all of that. So all of that is super important still. And so someone coming to automate who may have just seen or heard that AI is maybe the answer to all my problems and I'm excited about it, they can explore that thread at Automate, certainly. But what they're going to find is a lot of that practical foundational knowledge from our industry that's going to help them even more and actually deploy the vision system and within their automation system in a much more successful manner. So I think that's one of the main value propositions of Automate is it's a one-stop shop for all of that. They can tackle it all within the week in Chicago.